There are two kinds of military vets. There are the victims of conscription who have my full support and backing against the injustice done to them. And then there are the guys, the bums who willingly join. These guys are the solipsistic crowd, the self-important nobodies that expect everything for nothing. Now, I'm going to show this, just a snippet of this great response from Mr. Pink and Yellow about the motive behind men joining the army. I'm just going to play it here.
In the same way as men, right? Men seek status because this is a status seeking strategy. Get the money, get the grift, get the social connections, network, build your status. This is for reproductive success, right? This is for female validation. This is to get a girl in one's life. This is why they do it. Okay? So there's a cult of Dusty. Before he was a famous street.
There you go. He said it in a nutshell. This hour and a half long video is worth watching and listening to in full, right? But I just got the snippet that was the most important. Why do these guys join the military? To up their status, to then bribe a woman into their lives. It has nothing to do with serving a country. There's nothing altruistic about these guys, right? And by the way, the Ukrainian men who get drafted, look how the media portrays them. Ukraine's draft dodgers. You see, these guys are trying to avoid dying. They're trying to avoid death. The Ukrainian war is a meat grind for innocent men. And so what do they say? Oh, they're just a bunch of dodgers, right? They dodged their obligation to just die. Right? That's how people view men. Anyway, let me tell you now, we'll get into this guy first, right? This is a very typical guy, Army vet. He joined for the motivations that Mr. Pink and Yellow said. And of course, he gets back. What does he do? Does he give back to his society? No, he becomes a libertarian. He doesn't want to pay his taxes. These bums, these vet bums, join the military and leech off of the people's taxes. And when they get done, they don't want to return the favor. Other men are joining the military. He doesn't want to pay it, right? The eyes of a libertarian veteran. That should be an oxymoron. Those two words should not exist in the same sentence. This bum leached off the people's taxes, and now he doesn't want to pay it. Anyway, let's hear how self-important this guy is.
Hey, Chris, Libertarian Trucker Davis here. As somebody who signed up and once wrote a check that was up to and including my life, my very existence.
See, not our lives as Army vets, my life. This guy's letting the cat out of the bag. He doesn't give a shit about his fellow veterans. A lot of these vets, they don't come around and get together, do shit with one another. They're not invested in one another. They're there for themselves.
To serve in the United States military.
You didn't serve. You served yourself. You went there for selfish reasons, dude.
You don't need to thank me for my service, okay?
Yeah, that's because you haven't served me. I know we're from different countries, but I feel the same way about my own veterans. Whenever I was down and out and needed someone, no vet ever came to my rescue. Right? I owe these guys nothing.
Okay? You don't honor me in the way that you live. You don't honor me in the way that you vote. You don't honor me the way that you continuously follow and obey unjust dictates and mandates, and the way that you bolster and
you don't honor me in the way that you vote. Vote the way I tell you to. Nothing self-important about that. That's the trouble. Like, America is the worst case Like, don't get me wrong, there are people like this worldwide. In my country, for sure, they abound. But they're the most egregious in the United States. The United States history, it breeds self-importance. These guys, someone should take them aside when they're boys and say, you're nobodies, right? If you want to be somebody, you got to make yourself someone. This guy didn't do it. He went to the military. He tried to build his status. He failed. And what does he do? He comes back and he becomes a trucker, right? He doesn't join movements or societies that improve the government in the way that he wants. He just focuses on getting a job, getting that money, that do-re-mi to get the woman into his life. And he places all the blame on everybody else. This guy obviously had no skills. He went to the military. So many young guys do because they don't have any skills to offer society. So they run to daddy government. They leech off the taxpayer. Then they come back and what? They become truckers. Libertarian truckers, right?
And equip and help political figures trample on my rights and on my individual liberty.
Again, my rights, not our rights as veterans, right? My rights. You know what? I'm just using this clip, but this is a clip from a half-hour video that, you know something, I'm tempted to cover. Because at the beginning, he says what this is really all about. They won't allow him to carry a gun. You see, this guy, he hates the fact that he's a nobody, that he's low status. And so he wants to make himself feel better by having a firearm to say, yeah, I can defend myself. And they won't allow him to have it. This is all about self-importance. This person cannot see beyond himself. And this is a typical vet who joined. Again, there's a lot of people that, let's face it, they're just ordinary guys. They actually are altruistic, but they get snatched up by the government. They become conscripted. They would never have joined the military ever. You can actually find some good people amongst these guys, but not a bum like this. Men do not join the military for altruistic reasons. They join because they want to increase their status. They're thinking entirely about themselves. As soon as they leave, like this guy, he could have stayed in the military forever, served forever because he's so altruistic. No, these guys use the military and get lost. A lot of guys join the military, and as soon as they get enough time to get that army pension, they're gone. This is strictly about selfish people indulging their own desires. Now, a lot of these army vets end up being sovereign citizens, or a lot of sovereign citizens end up being army vets or military vets. Now, not all of them, right? Because again, this is a disease of the low status right-winger mind. This is what I'm leaving out too before I say, this is not just an army vet. This is a right-wing brained person. A lot of these guys who get snatched up in the draft, a lot of them could be left-minded guys. They could be progressive-minded people. But the guys who joined, they're right-wingers. And they have a disgusting mindset. Now, so are the Sovsits. The Sovsits are American people who hate following rules. They think rules are for everybody else. Now, notice too that there are a surprising amount of women who do the Sovsit. But still, I would claim that more men than women do it. And if you look at photos of these Sovsit men, what are they? They're low status. I've never seen a high status man become a sovereign citizen. Ever. And here's another thing. These guys can't even own their shit anymore. And that's what I'm talking about, the right-wing mindset, right? They know their views are repugnant, so they hold them, but they don't want to own them. And I'll show you what you mean, because here, the sovereign citizens, 331, he uses sovereign citizen arguments, but he wants to deny that he is a sovereign citizen. Here, let's get this up here.
Not exactly sure what to do.
Well, you could start by heading over to the local Waffle House, where apparently they hold their weekly sovereign citizen common law court sessions.
Okay, Mr. Shadowins.
Thank you, sir. I'm here by special appearance this morning.
It's special appearance, dude. Me, I'm just dining you the courts with my presence. My low status, do nothing presence. I'm such a special little nobody. Look, guys, everyone listening, I'm a nobody. I accept that. I just admit it, right?
So I am not, on and for the record, a sovereign citizen, nor have I ever been a sovereign citizen, though I agree with the state's position that many of the claims and statements I make are in alignment with that.
There you go. See, this bomb, you see, he's making their arguments, but he's not one, right? And I love how someone called him out down here. Your Honor, I walk like a duck, I quack like a duck, I look like a duck, but I'm not a duck. That's why I upvoted it. See, these bums can't even admit what they are. And this is what brings me to guys like, for perfect example, Carl Benjamin, right? He jumped on the bandwagon, the YouTube bandwagon for atheism and anti-feminism when they were hot topics and guys were making money. And of course, this guy is a right-winger, but doesn't want to admit it. See, the establishment doesn't want to talk about the left-wing violence. So he's a right-winger. But when you call him on it, he says, I'm not right-wing, I'm a centrist, right? Because he's against the left-wing, but he doesn't want to admit that he holds these disgusting right-wing views, right? He can't be nailed down, right? He can't own his shit. Now look at this one, Carl Benjamin, why I changed my mind about Christianity. What did I just say? This guy jumped on the the atheist bandwagon when it was popular and you're making money off it. I used to be diehard new atheist, but discarded him, distanced himself from, blah, blah, blah. In other words, he was always right-wing. Right-wingers go wherever the power and status is. Churches are not about a spiritual path. Churches are about wealth and status. So whether he's actually a religious person or not, he wants to align himself with the church. So he doesn't want to be an atheist anymore. At least he doesn't want the label. Whatever he actually is, it's all about labeling. Now, here's another thing. He was never anti-feminist either. He was always a male feminist. Because this bum, he came out and said, I don't want to be against something. I want to be for something, right? That's how he tried to sneak out of the anti-feminism when he gave it up. Instead of being honest, which he's not capable of, right-wingers aren't capable of that. Instead of being honest and saying, well, I've never been anti-feminist. I side with the people against men, my fellow man. Instead of admitting that, he turns around and says, oh, I want to be for something. But that would mean the civil rights shouldn't have happened. People could have made that argument for the civil rights. See, I don't want to be against racism. I want to be for something. Well, we all know that to be against racism is to be for equality. And to be anti-feminist is to be for male equality. So he was for something. He was just a lying sack right-winger. So, and all I get to say, what's his name? Chris Davis. Chris Davis. What makes you think I have anything but contempt for selfish little do-nothings like you? You bums, and that's what you are. You were a bum. You couldn't make it in life. These guys love talking about the free market, which doesn't actually exist, but they love the conception of it. But they get pissed off when they fail at it. See, these guys love a dog-eat-dog world. They're anti-male because it's men who suffer from this. But they hate it when they end up being the victims of it. That's all he's complaining about it. This hateful system, which I support, I'm a victim of it, and now I'm angry, right? And also he's saying, you know, again, I couldn't make it in this dog-eat-dog world, so I joined the military and leached off you, the people's taxes. And now that I'm done, I'm not going to do anything positive for society. I'm just going to get myself the highest paying job I can and complain that you guys don't worship my toes, don't kiss my feet. And that's how I feel about military vets, the guys who joined. And I'm excluding again all these poor guys that were enslaved. That's what conscription is. It's enslavement of the man. And a lot of these guys are probably good men who are actually innocent and probably had decent views and probably supported their societies in positive ways. And society's going to take these kind of guys and put them into a meat grinder to die. Because society doesn't care about what they do for them. Their main purpose is to harm them. They say, you're born male, you're going to die. We don't care that the infrastructure of society is upheld by you. We don't care that you offer positive to our society. We just know we don't like you and we want you to suffer and die. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here, right? Thank you, everyone.